Solar eclipses have long been a source of fascination, wonder, and sometimes fear. As the moon passes between the Earth and the Sun, it creates a surreal twilight, casting an eerie shadow over the landscape and often prompting strange occurrences and reports. Throughout history, and continuing into modern times, numerous strange events and phenomena have been reported during solar eclipses. These range from unusual animal behaviors and unexplained atmospheric effects to mysterious celestial sightings. During the most recent solar eclipse, an unusual and mysterious phenomenon captured the attention of amateur astronomers and the public alike, with many describing that a human-shaped silhouette was seen close to the Sun. This strange occurrence has sparked numerous theories and debates. The sighting occurred during the April solar eclipse, which was visible from several locations across the globe. As observers trained their telescopes and cameras on the eclipse, they noticed an anomalous figure near the Sun. This silhouette appeared to be distinctly human-like, complete with what seemed to be arms, legs, and a head. The figure was positioned close to the Sun's corona, the outermost part of the Sun's atmosphere, which is typically visible only during an eclipse. Social media users quickly shared the mysterious photos and offered their interpretations of what they saw. Others were baffled by what they were seeing and even wondered if live broadcasts were glitching. However, eyewitnesses came forward to confirm that they had witnessed the same thing while watching the solar eclipse live. Strangely enough, after the eclipse had been going for less than an hour, onlookers had also reported seeing unknown objects high in the sky. Concerning the strange figure observed, some wondered if the figure was a result of the eclipse itself. A user expressed concern over the sighting, saying that it was ominous and that they could understand how people would have thought it was a god if it had occurred in ancient times. Photographs and videos of the event quickly spread across the internet, capturing the imagination of people worldwide. The clarity of the silhouette and its unmistakable humanoid form led to a flurry of speculation. Amateur astronomers were intrigued and puzzled by the phenomenon, prompting a range of explanations from the plausible to the fantastical. One of the most straightforward scientific explanations suggested that the silhouette could be the result of a technical anomaly or artifact. Cameras and telescopes, especially when pointed at a source as intense as the Sun, can produce various artifacts due to lens flares, reflections, or sensor overload. Some posited that the human-shaped silhouette might be a coincidental alignment of these artifacts, creating an illusion that appeared human-like. But this doesn't explain how people were able to see it when observing the Sun through their telescopes. Another scientific theory proposed that the silhouette could be an unusual formation of solar plasma, or a prominence. Solar prominences are large, bright features extending outward from the Sun's surface, often forming loop-like structures due to the Sun's magnetic field. If a prominence took on a coincidental shape resembling a human figure, it could explain the mysterious silhouette. However, solar prominences typically appear more chaotic and less defined than the figure observed during the eclipse. Beyond scientific explanations, the sighting also reignited interest in various myths and legends. Throughout history, solar eclipses have been seen as significant omens or supernatural events. Some cultures interpreted the human-shaped silhouette as a celestial being or deity watching over Earth. This interpretation drew from ancient myths where gods and supernatural entities were believed to interact with the cosmos, influencing natural events and human affairs. The sighting also sparked a wave of speculative theories in the realm of ufology and extraterrestrial life. Some enthusiasts suggested that the silhouette could be an alien entity or spacecraft, using the cover of the solar eclipse to observe Earth. This theory, while intriguing to many, lacked substantive evidence and was largely based on the silhouette's humanoid appearance and the enduring fascination with extraterrestrial life. Regardless of the explanation, the human-shaped silhouette seen during the solar eclipse highlights the enduring mystery and wonder that celestial events inspire. It serves as a reminder of the limitations of human understanding and the vast, unexplored complexities of the universe. This phenomenon underscores the importance of scientific inquiry and the need for open-mindedness when confronting the unknown. Anna Paulina Luna, who serves in the United States House of Representatives, says she got men in blacked. Luna stated in a recent audio interview with Grant Mitterlehner that she thinks that UFOs are cutting-edge technology that aren't human-made. She said that she got men in blacked, adding that a whistleblower came forward from Eglin Air Force Base and indicating that UAP action was essentially being covered up by the Air Force. Anna Luna said that at first, the Pentagon attempted to call off the first meeting, but they managed to get it back on file. In essence, the base commander attempted to inform them that they lacked authorized clearance. She was at odds with the commander of the base and questioned why an intelligence agency was required to attend a whistleblower meeting. She went on to talk about the disturbing facts she had learned about people that have potentially been taken out by talking about this information. She continued by stating that she believed Grush's description of the aliens as non-human intelligence meant that they weren't necessarily a biological species from another planet in and of itself. Over the years, numerous individuals who have come forward with information about UFOs have reported facing significant personal and professional risks. One of the most well-known dangers faced by UFO whistleblowers is the threat of professional ruin. The legend of the Men in Black dates back to the early days of the UFO phenomenon in the mid-20th century. One of the first documented cases involving the MIB occurred in 1953, when Albert K. Bender, a prominent UFO researcher and founder of the International Flying Saucer Bureau, claimed to have been visited by 3 men in dark suits. According to Bender, these men warned him to cease his investigations into UFOs, conveying a sense of menace and authority. Shortly thereafter, Bender dissolved the International Flying Saucer Bureau and withdrew from the public eye, citing the intimidating encounter as the reason. Bender's story was later recounted in his 1962 book, Flying Saucers and the Three Men, which helped to cement the Men in Black as a staple of UFO lore. Over the years, numerous other individuals have reported encounters with the Men in Black following UFO sightings or investigations. These reports typically describe the Men in Black as having an uncanny appearance, often with pale skin, expressionless faces, and unusual speech patterns. Witnesses frequently note that these men seem to have an otherworldly or robotic demeanor, adding to the sense of unease they evoke. In many accounts, the Men in Black are said to drive black cars, usually classic models, which vanish without a trace after the encounter. One of the most famous cases involves Dr. Herbert Hopkins, a Maine psychiatrist who was researching a UFO incident in 1976. Hopkins claimed that he received a phone call from a man who identified himself as a representative of a UFO research organization. Shortly after the call, the man arrived at Hopkins's home, dressed in a black suit and displaying strange behavior. During their conversation, the Men in Black allegedly advised Hopkins to destroy all his UFO research material, an order he complied with out of fear. Hopkins's account, like many others, remains unverified, but continues to fuel speculation about the nature and purpose of the Men in Black. Theories about the identity and origins of the Men in Black vary widely. Some believe that they are government agents tasked with suppressing information about UFOs and extraterrestrial life. This theory suggests that the MIB are part of a secretive branch of intelligence or defense agencies, operating outside the bounds of official oversight. Their mission, according to this view, is to maintain control over UFO-related information and prevent public panic or the revelation of advanced extraterrestrial technology. Others propose that the Men in Black are themselves extraterrestrial beings or hybrids sent to cover up their own presence on Earth. This theory posits that the MIB's strange appearance and behavior are indicative of their non-human origins. Proponents argue that these beings are protecting their own interests by silencing witnesses and researchers who come too close to uncovering the truth about UFOs. Regardless of their true nature, the Men in Black have had a significant impact on popular culture and public perception of UFO phenomena. The influence of the Men in Black extends beyond entertainment, shaping the discourse around UFO sightings and government secrecy. For many, the Men in Black symbolizes the lengths to which authorities might go to conceal information and control public knowledge. The persistence of MIB stories underscores the deep-seated suspicion and curiosity that surrounds the UFO phenomenon, reflecting broader themes of mistrust in government and the desire for transparency. Many whistleblowers are former military personnel, scientists, or government officials who risk their careers by speaking out. Their credibility and livelihoods can be jeopardized as they are often discredited and ridiculed. For example, Some high-ranking individuals who claim to have worked on reverse engineering alien technology have claimed they faced intense scrutiny and professional discreditation. In addition to professional risks, whistleblowers often encounter severe personal threats. There have been reports of harassment, intimidation, and even threats to their lives. The psychological toll on individuals who speak out about UFOs can also be immense. Whistleblowers frequently face intense public scrutiny and skepticism, leading to social isolation and various struggles. Dr. John E. Mack, a Harvard psychiatrist who studied individuals claiming to have had encounters with extraterrestrials, faced significant backlash from the academic community. Despite his distinguished career and the rigor of his research, Mack was subjected to an investigation by Harvard Medical School, which questioned the legitimacy of his work. Although he was eventually exonerated, the experience was a testament to the professional and psychological pressures faced by those involved in UFO research. The risks faced by UFO whistleblowers also raise significant concerns about freedom of speech and the public's right to know. When individuals are silenced or discredited for discussing UFOs, it undermines the principles of transparency and accountability in government and scientific inquiry. The fear of reprisal can discourage others from coming forward with potentially important information, stifling public debate and hindering the pursuit of truth. Despite these dangers, some whistleblowers have persisted in their efforts to bring information about UFOs to light. Luis Elizondo, a former Pentagon official who headed the Advanced Aerospace Threat Identification Program, resigned from his position in 2017 to protest the secrecy and lack of resources allocated to investigating UFOs. Elizondo has since become a prominent advocate for greater transparency, speaking out about the potential threats posed by unidentified aerial phenomena and the need for serious scientific investigation. His revelations have contributed to a shift in the public and governmental attitude towards UFOs, leading to more open discussions and legislative actions aimed at increasing transparency. The dangers faced by UFO whistleblowers highlight the broader challenges associated with investigating and discussing controversial topics. The personal and professional risks, coupled with potential government interference, create a hostile environment for those seeking to uncover the truth. However, these challenges also underscore the importance of protecting freedom of speech and fostering an open and inclusive dialogue about UFOs and other unexplained phenomena. Carl Nell, retired Army colonel, reveals that non-human intelligence exists and has been interacting with humanity. New York City witnessed a surprising revelation that the world's populace will only believe when told by a high-ranking official from one of the most powerful governments in the world. In the summer of 2023, David Grush, a former employee of the National Reconnaissance Office, testified before Congress with 2 Navy pilots, making a number of groundbreaking statements. David Grush's testimony before Congress, given under oath, is what has sustained the intense debate surrounding this intriguing and potentially dangerous topic across a number of venues. The same former official was scheduled to speak on the same platform where, months earlier, lead immunologist and tenured Stanford professor Dr. Gary Nolan declared he was positive that extraterrestrial intelligence exists and has been communicating with Earth for a considerable amount of time. David Grush was supposed to speak at the renowned SALT conference in New York City, but he had to postpone it due to an apparent scheduling difficulty, just days after it was publicized. The fact that members in the UFO community have been waiting months to hear from Grush demoralized them. However, the organizers of the conference had a surprise weapon that proved to be a fantastic substitute for Grush. Former government employee Colonel Carl Nell of Army Futures Command possesses much more classified material than David Grush. During his speech at the SALT conference, he revealed some shocking information. According to Carl Nell, there have been interactions between humans and a non-human intellect for hundreds of years. The fact that senior officials from states like Israel and Canada are making similar assertions serves as possible proof to support his claims. This phenomenon is not limited to the United States. It is currently occurring on a worldwide scale. If the mainstream media wishes to cover it, this might be the statement that goes viral. Nell declared that there is non-human intelligence. Humanity has interacted with non-human intelligence. This has been an ongoing and not very new contact, and those in the government who are not elected are aware of this. There is not a single doubt. He discussed a wide range of fascinating subjects, many of which are related to the potential effects of revelation on human civilization. This former United States Marine claims he saw a massive UFO being loaded with weapons in the jungle. A veteran Marine claims that he and 5 other military members saw a flying saucer being armed while on duty in Indonesia in 2009. Furthermore, he claims that after the sighting, unnamed US military personnel who did not have any discernible insignia came up to them and threatened to shoot. This astounding assertion not only calls into doubt the military's role in any alien contacts, but it also highlights, amidst a flurry of startling disclosures, an incredible story begins when an Air Force whistleblower from the government's UFO section comes to light. This guy has joined a growing group of intelligence officers who claim that the US not only has recovered non-human aircraft, but is actively involved in the complex task of disassembling and reassembling these downed or landing vehicles. A 20-year-old rifleman named Michael Herrera was sent on a humanitarian mission by the Navy to help in the wake of the devastating 2009 Sumatra earthquake and tsunami that devastated most of the area. In a private interview with news outlets, the man claims that in October of that year, while on a mission to safeguard a humanitarian supply airdrop near Padang, he and his 6-person team came across an airborne octagonal vehicle that they thought was being used by secret American military units. The observation of this unidentifiable object generated curiosity and conjecture about the existence and operations of unknown US forces in the area. Herrera, who had been silent on UFO disclosures for more than 14 years, found courage in the freshly enacted whistleblower protections. In a historic move in April, he swore under oath to testify before 2 key organizations, a well-known Senate committee and the government's All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, a specialized UFO study organization. During his presentation of his flawless 4-year service record, he also related stories of the interaction with a supposed fellow observer who chose not to speak because he believed it would endanger his life and the safety of his family. The person stressed that sharing information was not thought to be worth risking his personal safety or endangering his family. By comparing his account with military sources, news outlets were able to verify minor facts. But even at 33 years old, Herrera doesn't have any hard copies of records or images that are directly related to the incident at hand. After graduating from high school, the Denver native decided to join the Marines right away. After serving in the service for less than 2 years, he was ordered to join the 31st Marine Expeditionary Unit and be stationed in the Philippines. He was given the vital task of helping individuals afflicted by the natural disaster after a severe storm, and he was instrumental in making it happen. The 2nd Battalion, 5th Marines Echo Platoon, was ordered to reroute their mission to provide security for helicopter aid deliveries in the vicinity of Padang City, which was experiencing difficulties due to unrest caused by local insurgents on September 30th, 2009, during the powerful 7.6 magnitude earthquake that occurred in Sumatra. He was flown in by a CH-53 helicopter to a location in the northeastern part of the city on or around October 8th, along with 5 Marines. Then, according to Herrera, they began a strenuous 900-foot walk up a ridge to take up their positions strategically ahead of the impending supply delivery. To ensure the mission's success, this particular operation required careful planning and cooperation. He was looking across the verdant terrain when he noticed something strange tucked away behind the thick jungle brush over the hill's crest. The thing was unlike anything he owned. The witness reported witnessing a dynamic entity that rotated and moved. The item saw a change in color, going from a light matte gray to a dark matte black. After giving it some thought, he said that the item was really noticeable and stood out from the surrounding area. This observation points to a striking visual aberration that caught the observer's attention. Strangely enough, he added, they had not been given radios, so they had to carefully make their way down the hill in unison to assess the situation rather than reporting it right away. In the meantime, Herrera used his Panasonic camera to take pictures and make recordings of the events as they happened. This unorthodox method emphasizes how they collaborate and rely more on visual observation than on electronic devices for communication. Herrera compared the object's size to a football pitch and called it enormous. The thing was rotating in a clockwise direction and showed off an amazing variety of color shifts. Its movement was accompanied by a distinct hum that was akin to the resonance of a guitar amplifier or the sound made by a transformer. This mysterious vessel had the shape of an octagon with a characteristic black pyramid construction perched upon its tip. The vessel turned gracefully in a precise orbit, alternating between various colors, and there was a clear sound of vibration. It had a very strange design, with what looked like scales covering every part of the vessel. Interestingly, it departed from the idea of a polished surface, showing off seams and ragged edges that suggested human handiwork. Its entire appearance was made even more strange by the odd panels that resembled vantablack and found their way around the vertical perimeters. Herrera claimed that when his 5 buddies and he approached the unknown aircraft, 8 people dressed entirely in black camouflage clothing launched an unexpected attack on them. These attackers wore bulletproof jackets and carried M4 weapons fitted with high-tech night vision devices that are usually only found in elite US military troops. He said that they were aiming their rifles at us during the incident. Additionally, he mentioned how clearly they could hear their guns' safety levers being pulled. These 2 persons publicly conveyed their confusion and requested clarification, speaking in an aggressive tone and with unique American accents. The men continued to threaten, and eventually the troops were stripped of their weapons, their ammunition thrown away, and their military identity examined closely. Herrera described seeing people physically moving heavy gun boxes and other containers from specially outfitted Ford trucks onto a level platform under the plane. As the suspense grew, this unnerving sequence of events played out, giving a clear image of the intense atmosphere that pervaded the situation. The lowest portion of the platform rose around 10 feet above the ground, following the last 2 trucks' completion of unloading and their departure. Then the ship lowered itself to line up with the raised platform, and, as the speaker put it, they merged into one seamless one. An important point in the operational sequence is represented by this complex procedure of the platform raising and the craft lowering to join. Lights were attached to the corners of the vessel, and they changed color smoothly from blue to red to yellow to green. These lights provided a functional as well as aesthetic element. The thing lifted off the ground and streaked just beyond the edge of the trees, before swerving sharply to the left, towards the ocean, at an estimated 4,000 miles per hour. They were trying to make sense of what was happening, but the situation was too unbelievable. Herrera described how the 8 unmarked soldiers returned their unloaded guns and walked them back over the hill, all the while highlighting the potential for violence. After they made it to the top of the hill, the people in question gave them clear instructions to leave the area right away and never look back. The 6 Marines returned quickly to the planned assistance drop spot, only to be met with a sharp reprimand by their gunnery sergeant for returning too soon. Herrera recalled that none of them spoke up or revealed the specifics of what had happened, despite the unpleasant occurrence. The veteran soldier described his tremendous terror in a thorough and in-depth account, saying that he was terrified. After arriving back at the USS Denver, Herrera's group was briefed by a rear admiral whom he did not recognize. Herrera was taken aback by the admiral's unusual attendance at this session and began to wonder what the admiral's engagement meant. Interestingly, none of them brought up the topic of the saucer or the presence of unmarked troops during the debriefing. This was a notable omission from their talks. The Marine recalled that after a short while, the crew discovered that they were docked in Subic Bay, Philippines. The memory card and battery of his camera had been stolen from his locked locker, which he found after a night of drinking and partying with his fellow crew members. Additionally, it was alleged that the phones of his 5 companions had gone missing. In early December 2009, after arriving back at Camp Hansen in Okinawa, Japan, he was told to go to the office. When he got there, he saw an Air Force lieutenant colonel in full dress who was noticeably missing his name tag. This incident was important because it set off a sequence of events that he would experience while at the camp. He was told that you are prohibited from discussing the events with anyone, not your superiors, not even a general. Violation of this directive will result in severe consequences, possibly leading to imprisonment or even their demise. When he left the Navy in October 2011, his discharge document showed that he had served 4 years of active duty. He was also adorned with excellent medals that recognized his accomplishments in a number of areas, such as National Defense Service. The former Marine was motivated to come forward and relate his story by new rules that were enacted in December with the intention of protecting UFO whistleblowers.